Balarama Holness said earlier this week that he will be running in the next provincial election in the Notre Dame de Grace NDG riding. Let's find out why he picked quite a difficult challenge. Balarama Holness, leader of Bloc Montreal, is on the line. Hi, Balarama.
Good morning.
So, I just took a look in 2018 at what happened in the NDG riding, right? So the Liberals won the seat with 63% of the vote. Second place had a 12%. So that's a 50-point plus gap. Why did you say, Balarama, that NDG is the riding for you?
Well, for me, it was important, first of all, to represent people of NDG, because I think that is the final battleground in the rights of English minorities, of visible minorities, and Quebec at large. So I feel as though NDG is the last, if you will, like barrier to actually support our rights. And it wasn't about just looking at data, because I think the data has shifted over the last 4 years. Right now we have Saint-Henri that's going to be very competitive, and we have a doctor from the CHUM that's running there. You have Heidi Small that's going to be running in Westmount St. Louis, Joël de Bellefeuille and Darcy McGee. So it's also about not just me, but putting the right people in the right places that might have a better chance to win in their districts, but those districts are also aligned with them. So this is not just about my chances of winning, but also being a team player and putting other people in the right place to win throughout my whole team.
I know the Liberals, obviously, Kathleen Whale is not running again, so they have put in, who they say is a star candidate for them, Desiree McGraw. Apparently, she's an NDG person. I think she's lived in NDG for 14 years. You don't live in NDG, right? So, what's with regards to that? How do you think you're gonna fare going up head to head with someone who I think has some NDG roots?
For sure, but. Absolutely, but Gerard Park is where my daughter plays. My barber shop is Gillespie, and if you look at Jennifer, for example, in Westmount, she lives in Laval, right? So it's not only about where you live, but your connection to the district. Also, my brother, many people know I have a twin who lived in Côte-des-Neiges for like a decade, so I have connections to the area. But it's not just about geographic, but also demographic and links to the borough. And you're right to point out that we have a tough challenge, right? In any district that you look at, it is going to be difficult. And the doctor that we are going to announce, who's going to be running in Saint-Henri, might have a better chance in terms of data than I do currently. But once again, it's not just about me and my chances, but what's best for Bloc Montreal as a whole. And also, we feel, and I feel strongly, that I could win NDG. We have a team in place who's done some phenomenal work during the last municipal election. As you know, that we did fairly well. We had Matthew Clure ran for mayor of Côte-des-Neiges. You had Joël de Bellefeuille and others who did a great job on our ground game. So we're not starting from scratch, and we feel confident that we could win NDG, Darcy McGee, and Westmount St. Louis, as well as Saint-Henri and unseat Dominique Anglade and Saint-Henri.
We're with Balarama Holness, founder, leader of Bloc Montreal. Balarama, let's talk about what the response has been since the party got official party status and got the your name approved in that. What is the response you are hearing from people?
Yeah, and speak to all political parties, they're going to tell you the same thing, as the response on the ground is phenomenal. And we have that. It's still 30,000 people still voted for my candidacy at the mayor level. So people are happy that I'm back. They see the resilience. But that doesn't mean that you're still going to get the majority of the vote. So for us, despite the fact that we do have a lot of support when we go into restaurants, we knock on doors, it still remains that we have to have a phenomenal ground game to unseat the institution, which is the Liberal Party of Quebec in NDG and many boroughs. So despite the fact, it is very positive, that doesn't change the fact that we have a large task in front of us, and we're up to the challenge. And I think that we're going to have a better ground game than McGraw. Sure, she's been there for 14 years, but largely an academic and a philanthropic stakeholder. with little connection to actually people on the ground. And I think that we can beat the Liberals and McGraw on that basis, not only in NDG but in many other boroughs.
Is that going to be one of your strategies in this next election, focusing on the fact that perhaps your party is more real, is not out of touch with the population?
I wouldn't say that we are more real than other candidates. I want to give credit to a lot of the Liberal candidates. I think what differentiates us is that we are more connected to the community. So our ground game is going to be strong. Certainly, you have that Liberal machine that's going to be very difficult, and everyone knows this is that the federal Liberals help the provincial Liberals. They exchange data, they exchange personnel. So we're up against a huge behemoth. That's going to be a challenge, and what we're going to have to do is have a better ground game than they have, and that's really going to come down to is who has more volunteers, who can knock on more doors, and who can get out there. But I don't think that I am more real than the candidate in NDG or any other candidate.
To wrap up with you, Balarama, Bloc Montreal, will you run a candidate in every single riding on the island of Montreal come October?
Oh, absolutely. But no, and beyond the island, we're going to have candidates dans le Grand Montreal as well. There might be one or two boroughs that we decide not to put districts that we decide not to put resources in. But as of now, you're looking at 30 candidates. We'll have another 2 or 3 candidates announced in the next few days. Most notably in Saint-Henri we're going to be announcing that on Saturday. So we're going to be in the key battlegrounds and also in a few others. Like we might pass Gouin, for example, where Québec solidaire is very strong. But overall, we're going to be looking to represent ourselves in all districts on the island of Montreal.
Balarama, thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right, that's Balarama Holness, leader of Bloc Montreal.